In my hand is a BMW key. Looks like any other BMW key, but on this particularly miserable morning in Cape Town, this little piece of plastic is making me very happy indeed, because it opens the doors to one of these. After a few days in this, the 435i M Sport, I can't help but feel that this is a really special car. It just feels like having it in my life has made every day slightly better. Now, being a modern BMW, this car is obviously packed with technology, but the one piece of kit that I think will help you on a day-to-day basis more than anything else in this car is quite possibly the best parking assistant I've ever come across. In fact, I think the parking aids in this car are so advanced that I could park the car without even looking out of the window. So to prove it, I've devised a very simple test. Malema reckons he is ready to govern. No, he's not. That's a lie. Willie Barker has his team in top form. Very interesting. Now, helping me achieve this are 5 cameras around the entire car. I've got 2 in the wings up front by the nose. That's helping me see these nasty pillars in this underground parking lot. But when I flick it into reverse, I get this 3 camera system. Now, this is genius. So using some clever German maths, the cameras create a top-down view, a sort of a bird's eye view of my car. And then I can start looking for the lines on the floor. It's almost like there's a drone hanging above me, and I can see all the painted lines. Of course, I also have radar on the right-hand side here, which will beep if I'm going to bump into anything, like my director, for instance. I can't see a thing. There we go. Look at that, right between the lines. Oh, this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. I'm in. Well, that was terrifying.
That's a clean sample.
2 or 3 decades ago, when BMW started becoming status symbols, the people who bought them usually enjoyed playing around with these. So it's nice to know that even though you have a sports car with only 2 doors, it will still fit all of your sporting equipment. I'm sure you only need one of those anyway. But nowadays, though, the world has changed, and people with this kind of money are 27 years old. They probably have a successful iPhone game featuring birds and pigs, and they like to surf. So it's also nice to know that if you are one of those blondes who never brushes their hair, but with a little flick of a handle, your 4 Series will swallow a surfboard as well. Now, I'm about to tell you how much this car costs, but before I do, I'd like you to remember that this is the top of the range with all the go faster bits from the M division. So it's about as close as you can get to the upcoming M4 without actually buying an M4. But you'll still need to part with 708,000 Rand, which is 708,000 Rand. But the entry-level 420i will set you back 465,000, and I think that's a bargain. You still get a 4 Series. Doesn't really matter which engine it's got, actually. Actually, no, it does. it really matters. This is the 3-litre straight 6 with a big single turbocharger. It's got 225 kilowatts and it's got 400 Newton meters of torque, and it is fantastic. Now with that kind of power, a 0 to 100 time of 5.1 seconds and a top speed limited to 250 kilometers an hour, you might think that this car is a bit more expensive to run than Russia, but it isn't. And that's because of BMW's driving experience control. Now I think that's a terrible name. I call it BMW schizophrenia control because this car has 4 personalities. You flick through them with a very convenient little switch down here next to the gear handle. When you turn the car on, it sets the default mode to comfort, which is about as feathery down duvet as a BMW 435 is ever going to be. Flick it up once and you get sport mode, which is for people who think they can drive, and it keeps all the traction control systems on. Once more again and you're in Sport Plus. Now this puts on dynamic traction control and is only for people who know what they're doing. Seriously. But the most important mode in this day and age when we're paying more for petrol than we are for beer is something called Eco Pro mode, which is incredibly impressive because it manages to make this car feel unbelievably dull. What it does is it reins in the throttle, it reins in the engine's power, it forces you to drive economically even if you don't want to, and the cost savings are amazing. You could probably do about half the consumption you do in sport mode if you stuck to Eco Pro, but it is boring. I'm fine. Saving fuel. If you're looking to buy one of this car's rivals, you don't have much option right now. You can go to Audi and ask for an A5. Those are all front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, so you don't get that thrill of a rear-wheel drive sports car. You can go to Mercedes and they'll sell you a C-Class coupe, but it doesn't really look as good, does it? And it probably doesn't drive as well unless you spend the money on an AMG. Lexus will have a rival out sometime next year, which does look quite good actually. But for now, as far as attractive, usable sports car coupes go, BMW have hit this one out of the park. My work here is done.